Hi, I'm Nort Beckerman with the Sustainable Scoop. I'm sitting in for Miriam Gennari tonight. There are some people that believe that the future of the human race is dependent upon our ability to populate space. And tonight I have two people with me who want to talk about that. Jay Simmons and Greg Moran. Jay, your position with the organization?
I'm the president and one of the founders of Mach 30.
Mach 30?
Yes.
You know, when Miriam asked me to do the interview about Mach 30, I said, wow, that'd be great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Well, Mach 30 is a nonprofit here in the US that does open source spaceflight. In short, we design, build, and test hardware related to space, and then we give away the plans for free on the internet.
Okay. And what is the objective of your organization?
Well, we believe that it's essential for humanity to become a spacefaring civilization, and that that's inevitable, but we'd like that to happen faster.
What do you think it's going to take for it to happen faster?
Well, that's where we think open source technology comes into play. Right now, if you wanted to start a space company, even if you had no business designing hardware, you'd first start by investing $500 million to $1 billion in how to build rockets. Which, if you were FedEx and you want to do that with airplanes, that's ridiculous. You'll never get funding for it.
Well, how does NASA come into play in all this?
The public sector has a slightly different aim. They have been tasked with achieving certain missions at different times, be it the construction of the space station over the last couple of decades or putting a human on the moon. But there's not been a sustainable effort to develop the economic and technical ecosystem so that everyone has access.
Well, that sounds rather, it sounds very, a whole big mouthful there. Greg, how do you fit into this whole picture?
So I'm the vice president of Mach 30 and one of the co-founders. Jay and I met in grad school and had this crazy idea together. We hashed it out over lunch one day, and it all took off from there. So your hardware, software involved? My background is in aero and astro systems engineering, so technical, but my involvement with the organization is really more on the operational side, the organizational part of it.
Oh, that's important, particularly when you're dealing with volunteers.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
What are the objectives of your organization?
Long-term to...
Yeah, long-term. What are your long-term objectives?
Long-term to pave access to space for everyone by ensuring that the essential technologies for access to low Earth orbit, basically where the station is available to anyone to build upon by open sourcing all the related technologies to rockets and communications with rockets, putting people and cargo into space.
So if I have the money to build a ship, you can offer me the software, the technology in order to, the blueprints basically.
Exactly.
That's the idea. That's the idea.
Oh, well, that sounds sort of neat. Everything's got to start someplace, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, you know. But what are your short-term goals? I mean, in the near future.
Well, we have a project going on right now called Ground Sphere, and it's a small-scale satellite receiver. Basically, we're doing all of the design work, all the prototyping and testing to put this piece of hardware out into the hands of anybody that wants it. Relatively low scale, small scale, and low cost. Mm-hmm. So it can be available in any school, in any club.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. Do you go to schools and talk at schools about this? Do you try to get people at schools interested?
That's one of our longer-term goals. We have done work in the past with the Coca-Cola Space Science Center, mm-hmm. and their STEM educational outreach mission is right on target with some of the stuff that we do.
Now, as I understand it, there are a number of these organizations throughout the country, or throughout the world.
Absolutely.
And do you coordinate with these, or?
We've partnered with some of them over at times. Every one of them's got slightly different objectives and methodologies, and so when our objectives overlap, we work together, and when not, we support one another and cheer each other on, but work independently.
Boy, this is just fascinating. It really is.
Excellent.
I was looking at some of the videos that you all have up on YouTube. And the lander, is that something else that's involved? I was looking at a space lander.
That's, we showed you a couple of landing vehicles, one from SpaceX and one from Blue Origin, right?
Yes.
So those are two commercial companies working on reusable rockets. But both of those are commercial entities, so their technology is proprietary. Even when they're successful, if you wanted to go into business yourself, you'd have to reinvent the wheel for that.
That's very costly.
Exactly.
That'd be very costly. Well, how do you share information with these other organizations? I guess you do.
We do.
Oh, absolutely.
The main way that we share information about our designs is through our Open Design Engine website. Basically, it's for open source hardware, and we get to share all aspects of the design process from the early prototyping and just experimental stage, all the way through the design maturation, testing, and results. We document everything so that, again, we do this once for everybody, and nobody has to reinvent the wheel.
That sounds great. Now, do you have any upcoming events that that are going to be in the near future that our audience would like to know about?
Yep. So this August, on August 6th, it's a Saturday, we'll be holding our annual conference. It's called Apogee, and this year it'll be at the Tech Shop in Crystal City / Arlington, Virginia.
Okay. And how can people get in touch with you?
The best way is probably engaging through social media. We have pretty much every social media site, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, our YouTube channel, and look up Mach30.org.
Mach30.org.
And that's M-A-C-H for those that don't know, and then the number 30.
MACH30.org. Well, listen, I want to thank you both for coming. I mean, it's been great, and I find it really exciting. Now back to the studio, and thank you guys in the control room.